Welcome back to another episode of my podcast, Save Point Stories, where we talk about the relationships we have with video games and the shared experiences and stories that make for the personal connections people have that last throughout their lives. I'm your host, Kurosh, and today I'm joined by another amazing guest that I'd like to introduce. We shared the stage at WonderCon in 2020 this past year, and you've been shifting the gaming conversation online through all of the different media, and you just have a new show, Checkpoint the Show, with your co-host Ronell. Thank you for joining me today.
Yo, thank you, man. Thank you. And WonderCon was fun. WonderCon was real fun.
That was a great time. We got a chance to speak about the gaming landscape and its effects and its impact on culture and everything. Like, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we get a chance to do something again,
for sure.
maybe in the near future. But thank you again for being on the show today.
No problem, man. Thank you for having me.
I know we met at it was a Twitch LA meetup. That was where I first met you. A few years ago, and I think you caught my eye, and I was like, oh, this guy's also in the gaming space and in the same kind of way that I want to be in and I aspire to be in. So and I think we had a mutual friend. You're also familiar with JPG.
Yep.
And you know, from there I just pestered you pestered you ever since. But cool. Without further ado, let's get into the show. What game have you picked today, and what game have you picked today?
It was a little tough. It took some deliberation there. But I ended up picking a game that I think had the biggest impact on my gaming going forward. And that game is Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And I would like to give a brief overview for those that may not be familiar with this game. Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Fate of the Two Worlds is a 2011 crossover fighting game developed by Capcom in collaboration with Marvel. It came out originally on Xbox 360 and PS3. The game features characters from both the Capcom video game franchise and the comic book series published by Marvel Comics. Originally releasing and later coming to PS Vita in 2012. It was later re-released on PS4, Windows, and Xbox One. This game in particular, and this franchise as a whole, has players selecting a team of 3 characters to engage in combat, attempting to knock out the opponent. It features a similar tag team mechanic that was used in the series, although with new methods and ways in which it was designed around new players and accessibility. So, with this, Ronell, why does this game mean so much to you?
Man, Marvel vs. Capcom. Great times. The thing is, it was an introduction into the real part of fighting games. I always, I played fighting games. I played Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I played Marvel vs. Capcom 1. I played plenty of fighting games way before that, generations before that. But with Marvel vs. Capcom 3 specifically, that's when I started to really try and figure out how to get good, how to actually get good at this game. And that opened up the box for me to do some personal development, some internal perspectives changing and all types of stuff on my journey to actually be good at Marvel vs. Capcom.
Well, so can you walk me through do you remember your first introduction to the game, like the day or the moment or an experience that really, this is one of the first times you really looked at it and was like, hey, this may spark something in me?
Well, part of it in the beginning, it was just kind of following tradition, right? I always liked Marvel vs. Capcom. I had the first one on PlayStation. RIP to that game. I gave it away to a friend or something, and now it's worth some money. I think it's probably worth less now that they brought it back. But
the collection,
I had Marvel vs. Capcom 1. I was playing that, loved it. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I didn't have, but I used to go to the laundromat and play it and all that fun stuff. So when Marvel vs. Capcom 3 came back around, I was able to own it. I had a console. I knew I could buy it with my own money. It was, something that I was interested in and gaining hype for, because I was currently playing one of my friends in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, constantly going to his house, playing it. And then I think I actually eventually finally purchased it digitally, way into the PlayStation 3 life cycle.
Okay.
but it was just kind of a cycle. I knew I had Marvel vs. Capcom 1. I wanted Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 only made sense.
Yeah, he was just the next step for you. But what?
Yeah.
So then you talking about it changed for you in that it became a space where you wanted to get good and really you hone your craft in the fighting game community. What changed after 2? I feel like 2 has such a life to how much it is in the fighting game community. What was it about 3 that like really triggered that for you?
Yeah, so it was just a series of circumstances. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 that's the Marvel vs. Capcom, right? Everyone loves that Marvel vs. Capcom. They eventually grew to love UMVC 3,
Mm-hmm.
and that also is now a staple. But with MVC 2, I just wasn't really. I liked the game and I wanted to play the game, but I think part of me not owning it in its hype and me not really being like that tapped into fighting games. I just button mashed. I went button mashed. I knew how to learn a few moves, to elevate me above the worst of players. But I didn't know what frame data was. I didn't know about iframes. I didn't know what any of that stuff meant at all. I didn't know a real combo. But losing it to my friend in Marvel vs. Capcom 2 over and over, and then me saying out loud, I will probably beat you in Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
The gauntlet was thrown down.
Yeah. I had to live up to my own words. So that caused me to like actually start Googling things and finding Maximilian and finding the wiki pages and really reading and going into the training lab. I never went into a training lab before. Like actually going and like trying to get good. Obviously, I blew him out the water. He couldn't hang with me anymore. But that caused me to want to go into rank and climb the ranks, etc.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Was that also with Marvel vs. Capcom 3? Did you're kind of knowing the lingo and knowing the terminology, knowing what to look for? Was that also now you understanding the larger FGC as a whole, or were you always just a fan in like taking that into?
Yeah, no, I didn't even acknowledge that there was a fighting game community, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know really of it at all. I knew about the people who were really good at my local bowling alley. You know what I'm saying? But that's like the extent that I knew as the fighting game community at all, actually.
That's so interesting. I love to hear that. No, like, so when it started with you and your buddy, but then you mentioned you like your bowling alley and local community. Were you open to just like taking on any and all like comers at when you went out there, like just putting up matches and stuff?
For sure. Like, again, with Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I wasn't really even putting my foot in the ring, really. But once I actually start practicing, I actually start getting good. And then once I blew my friend out the water, I needed competitors. I was like Goku out there trying to be the strongest. So I like find anyone who like mentioned the game or mentioned video games, even at high school, right in school. I would say, hey, we got, someone bring their Xbox or their PlayStation to school. I'd play whoever I could get my hands on.
So it lit a fire under you.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, hell yeah, cool. What if you don't mind me asking? Did you have a go-to team, and what was that?
Okay. Well, so with Marvel vs. Capcom 3, it was Wolverine, Wesker, Dormammu, or maybe Dante.
Okay.
Wolverine, Dormammu. But I was kind of switching in between 4 characters, which is again Dante, Wolverine, Wesker, and Dormammu. I was kind of switching in between them. I was in my beginning stages, so I wasn't really thinking too much about synergy. I just picked 3 or 4 characters I just thought looked cool and played cool. So I was working with them, and I was more like a kind of a solo guy. Like I would just take my guy out and just run the fade, and then if that person loses, switch over. Like I didn't really do too much synergy yet. I didn't really understand that.
Has that changed in the years that you've had your experience with the game? Are you still very much like that's my team, or
no? Now that I know that, like, I mean, there's just a better way to play, like I can't deny that. So now I ended up switching my team up a little bit. I think I ended up throwing my team is completely different now. I don't even use those characters. I use like Nova, either Firebrand or Frank West, and maybe still a Dormammu or maybe even a Deadpool because they just kind of synergize a little bit better. I still mess around with Wesker a little bit, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
kind of am curious. So that started you getting into that space, and wanting to seek out more competition and everything. Had that, again, going after that, did that continue? Did you chase fighting games, or did you seek out the next game after that, or was it very rooted in MVC3?
No, well, it was MVC3, and then it went to UMVC3, right? Obviously,
Uh,
Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. But the issue was that Marvel vs. Capcom has such a specific like speed and like play style that like I really couldn't really find it anywhere. A new Street Fighter would come out, and that's drastically different, right?
yeah,
A
it's a
new
different
Mortal
rhythm.
Kombat, right, would come out, and that's drastically different. So I kind of just like went to where friends were,
Okay.
I had one friend who like really liked Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm. I'm like, that's not a real fighting game, but I guess I'm like, I'll learn that. So like I got that and played him in that. I had another friend who was really good at Mortal Kombat, so I like, all right, whatever, I'll learn that. So I got that, played that. I liked learning the games. I like reaching that next level of like,
Yeah.
just from like a person who plays to a person who's like good, not even like great or spectacular, but just like from kind of weak to good. That's like my favorite progression to make, right? Progression.
Yeah, it's the chase.
Right. The only thing that I really got my fix on after that, after Ultimate Wars Capcom 3 was Dragon Ball Fighters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
definitely has a tempo that reigns very familiar to that.
Right.
So
Yeah. It was either that or like that random Power Ranger game, but
yeah,
which was weirdly very close. But
it
no,
had a lot
Dragon
of
Ball
the.
Fighters I got back in.
Okay. Yeah, I know the
Yeah.
Power Ranger one had some similar developers that worked on MVC series, and so
Yeah.
that tracks.
Yeah.
Something that's interesting to me, and I don't know if you've ever observed this about yourself or about like the space around these games, but I feel like there's something to be said of when people are very big enthusiasts of the fighting game community or fighting games in general. There's a mindset that comes with it, and I don't know if you've ever observed this of it just kind of, it's steel sharpening steel. It's that wanting to spar in a friendly way. It's not necessarily confrontation, but it's, hey, let's make each other better. And I don't know, have you observed that about yourself or in any other aspects of like, if it has it impacted any other aspects of your life, or what do you think?
I don't know if that's a chicken or the egg kind of thing, because I do think there is a trait within me that likes to figure things out, right? I like to figure things out. I like to get to the bottom of it. I like to solve things. I like the effectiveness. I like not just doing it, but like doing it in an effective fashion, right? And because of that, I kind of do like the results. Now, I also do like competition, right? Just from playing sports, I like skill versus skill. I just like putting my skill up against someone else's skill and outthinking them, outmaneuvering them. Now, I don't know which part of that, because I know some of it was maybe they probably fanned the flames of that from a fighting game. But I don't know if a fighting game like breeded that within me.
Okay.
I do know that to be true in certain situations for other people. I just don't know which one came first for me.
That's fair. Another one I'm curious which one came first maybe for you is, I feel like something to be said about fighting games is also there's so built around the community that fosters them. They're very a community driven kind of thing. And you, with what you do with 8-Bit Closed Fist and your checkpoint show, it's very much fostering communities. Do you see any parallels there of like that connection in any way?
For that one, I will say definitely separate. But I look it after I grown an appreciation for community, which is fairly recent. I want to say maybe even like 2 years. I think I just had a community, so I kind of took it for granted, and I never really understood the importance of it to me and at large. And even now, I don't even think I fully appreciate the community that I have. But I do understand its importance in society, and in gaming specifically. And that, when I look at that, I look at the fighting game community, and it's easily one of the best. So I do admire the fighting game community for that, but it's not necessarily something that I think I seek out.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. Something I forgot to ask is also, if you had to really boil down what is your favorite thing about MVC3, what would it be?
Man, I really do like the characters, but I think even with those characters, different game, I think the game aspect of my brain versus your brain, I think I like the most.
Okay.
It's me trying to predict you, and me trying to predict you predicting me, and trying to out predict that. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
like,
that chess game that you're playing.
Yeah, like that. That's and it's fast. It's high octane. You know what I'm saying? It's very engaging. So yeah, I like the fact that it's like chess on 100 million times speed.
Has there been any specific like memory or moment that like really highlights that for you that you can speak to?
I was maybe not a specific moment, but like maybe certain nights, certain days of like me trying to grind rank at like 2 a.m. Or even I did have one friend who ended up matching me, which was very funny, but I used to beat him. So in that story of me telling you about that guy friend who used to beat me in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, he also used to beat this other guy, and I'll call him John. And then Marvel vs. Capcom 3 came along, and we wiped that friend out. But now that friend is like, man, how do you play Marvel vs. Capcom 3? So now I'm teaching that friend how to play. He's getting better. He's getting better to the point where he got really good. So there was one night where like I went to his house. One day I went to his house. I think I like ditched the college day or something. I went to his house and we played, I think like 110 matches of Marvel vs. Capcom. Like I remember like having calluses on my thumbs, everything, and the score was only like 52-53 or something like that.
Damn,
it was beautiful. It was beautiful. So like
that's amazing,
right? And we was going back and forth. Like that's the best for sure.
I have a very similar story, but it was with MVC2. I always just grew up loving it, but I was never good at it. And in recent memory, I found a group of friends that also love that game. And one of them was very good and always would taunt me and beat me, but just like taunt me a little bit, to the point where we had a local tournament we were trying to put together ourselves. And I was like, we both want to train for this tournament. So I was like, I'll be your sparring partner, but I want to learn from you too.
Yeah.
And I got better and better at it, to the point where we started having back and forth matches. And it was at a local round 1. And for me, the crazy experience with this was in a similar vein of that hunger that you had. Once her and I like had enough of these sparring matches, some guy would just walk by and be like, "Hey, can I play a match with one of you two? Like this, you guys are pretty solid." Right? and then I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like, yeah, I gotta actually like this is now with like in the random space, and we went neck and neck, and I was like, mad respect, like I love what you're doing. And then my friend went up against him and also threw hands, and we're like, this is pretty cool. Okay. We felt like it wasn't just in our little bubble, and like now we're amongst others, and there's a camaraderie there. It's like whether win or lose or draw, you're just like, that was good. We went back and forth. Yeah,
that's cool.
I love that. Cool. I wanted to ask you too. Just we're getting into the MVC space and just finding it. Are you more of a stick player or pad player, and why?
Oh, pad player. Yeah. I could never afford a stick, so I immediately didn't even think about, like it was like, oh man, I'm not gonna be able to get like a pad. I'm sorry, a pad or a controller rather. So yeah, I was like, I can't get a fight stick, so I'm all controller. I'm not even gonna think about it. And then it got to the point where I was so ingrained with controller that like now that even if I could get a fight stick, I'm not even gonna like try that yet.
How was it in the arcades then? Like when you went to the bowling alley and stuff?
Oh, in arcades, I just got beat. Especially with like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or anything like that, I would just get beat. But once I was able to own the game on Marvel vs. Capcom 3, like with my PlayStation or my Xbox, then I wasn't gonna buy any fight sticks. Or even now, I think if a new game came out, I probably still wouldn't buy a fight stick.
Sure,
I would just stick it through with controller.
Nice. Okay.
I thought about it with Tekken though.
Oh, really? Tekken 8?
I thought about it. Yeah, I was like, man, might need a fight stick for this.
Yeah, sometimes the other fighting games are like, this seems like, and then now also the evolution of the hitboxes as well.
Yeah,
just going full button, and it's like, man, this game, the fighting game scene is just constantly evolving. But you see still like certain players out there in the competition repping pad or stick or hitbox and stuff. So.
Yeah, I probably would do hitbox though, to be honest. Hitbox is just cool. I think that's just something I should learn how to do. Just as a person who plays fighting games, like hitbox is just cool as shit. So.
I couldn't for the longest time wrap my head around it, and then finally I watched something that was like explaining it. I was like, I think I understand this now, and that's pretty interesting. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of the competition, have you ever attended or participated in Evo?
No. I plan on it when 2XKO drops, the League of Legends fighting game. I am going to challenge myself to just play a match in Evo. That's it.
Very good. Okay, you heard it here.
Yeah, I gotta do it.
You're putting your entry into the Rumble.
Yeah,
of 2XKO. Now I'm very curious. What are your thoughts on that game?
It's fun as shit. Again, it's the closest thing that I got to Marvel vs. Capcom in a very long time. I love League of Legends, so I love their characters. Riot does a really good job with all of their games, really. And it's refreshing. It's new. I love the tag team aspect. So like maybe I'll find someone else to like tag team with me in there and grind it up. I think it's really fun. And the beta I played, like I couldn't put it down. So
yeah, it is interesting that not only is it doing the tag team element as far as you being able to play it, but then being able to have another player be the other character. Like I think that's a real element of the tag team. But
yeah, that's
Riot's got good track record, so I trust him with that.
Yeah, they do.
How I wanted to ask you, like, has your feelings of MVC3 changed at all over the years, or your perspective of it changed in any way, or is it aged well? Has it evolved, like how you view it in your history, in your gaming history?
Yeah, I just played it like randomly with one of my friends about like last Sunday. Mm-hmm. Game's still fun as shit. It's just a fun game. Ultimate Warriors Capcom 3 I played, which they needed that update. But it's just fun. For the series as a whole, maybe not too much because Infinite came out and we don't have to talk about it.
we can't talk about. Have you messed with the mod that the community has been putting around?
I haven't. I thought about it though.
I'm very interested myself as well. I think I got the file and I was like, I should just boot it up and get it going just to see what it feels like. But
yeah,
that again, the community kind of came around for it, and I'm hopeful. Like everything sounds good, and it's very driven by the fans, driven by the creators around it and stuff.
Yeah. I think I might do it and just like talk about it just to support. But my mind is, and that's another thing. I can't really play too many fighting games at once because like I get all messed up. So I'm gonna, once Project 2XKO comes out, that's all I'm playing.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, in that vein, if there was, or when there is an MVC4, what is paint me your dream version of that? What does it have? What is, just tell the tale of this game.
Damn, that's tough. To be honest, immediately I got to go with visuals, and I do want them to try again with cool visuals. Whatever direction they want to go. Okay. They hit and miss with Infinite, right? We all love MVC2 sprites. Marvel vs. Capcom and Ultimate vs. Capcom looks cool. I just want them to try something new again, whatever that may be. Keep that fast-paced action. Maybe leave 3v3. I want them to dive back into more non-popular characters. We don't have to go the MCU route. We can go with some random characters that makes you go. That was the first time I ever seen Thanos was in Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Yeah.
So like go back in there, figure out some random characters. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for just more of the same, really. It's they don't need to do too much. More of the same. Give me some great music. Maybe fix up the story mode. I do want a really good story mode, just because story modes in video games, fighting games, have gone to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely.
So fill us up with content, with story as far as that goes. And that's all they got to do, really.
If you could pick one Marvel character and one Capcom character that's like a lock-in for that, what would it be?
Marvel characters. That's tough. For Marvel, let me think.
I'll give you a sec to think. I'm going to pitch Kingpin, I think, could be a fun kind of heavier set character,
cool.
but
Yeah.
like could, if you manage him well, could play very fast paced and like really mess with you.
Okay.
Capcom, I'm leaning towards more on the like, I guess kind of silly. Could be silly. It depends on how they play him. But Ethan from Resident Evil, I think could be kind of interesting. They could go a lot of different directions where they're a little bit more serious with it. Or they go one of the REs, the more recent REs.
Yeah. Okay. Those is really good picks. Marvel. So many people came into my head just now.
Sure.
Originally, it was Black Panther, but they ended up putting him in Infinite, and that was cool. I would like Gambit to come back. That could be cool. But for someone brand new, I gotta go with Nightcrawler because I just love me some Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler would play fun.
He would do so fucking cool in Marvel's Capcom. So Nightcrawler is my number one pick. And then it's a toughie for Capcom because I don't really even know too much Capcom, to be honest. Off the top of my head, got Resident Evil, Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
What else do we have? What else do we have from Capcom? Obviously, got a lot of Street Fighter.
Okami.
Yeah, but she's in the game.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So
you're thinking of you want to bring someone new.
Someone new, right? Okay. Someone brand new. I'm trying to think of. I would have to let me look up some Capcom people real quick. Figure out who do I want. Devil May Cry is pretty. That's already in there. Dang, what's the last Capcom game I really loved? That's tough. Wow, that's really tough.
Stuffed. Dino Crisis. Let's hit up Dino Crisis.
Oh my god. What can
Onimusha?
Okay, now we're talking.
Let's get a little weird in here. Yeah, they got Ace Attorney.
We might go super weird.
Resident Evil, Mega Man.
I'm stumped.
To be determined.
Determined. It's gonna have to be. Oh man.
It's $1 million question. We'll make sure before MVC4 comes back, you gotta hop back on the show. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, jeez. What about freaking Asura? Was it God's Wrath?
Azura's Wrath.
Azura's Wrath.
Yeah. that'd be pretty cool. I could see some cool combos with that.
That'd be fire. Yeah.
I just wanted to see, do you have any closing thoughts with MVC and what it means to you and what it's done with everything?
I would say, just like I found Marvel vs. Capcom, I highly encourage everyone to just find them a fighting game. They're doing really good with being beginner friendly and teaching you how to play not just the game, but how to play fighting games as a whole. Figure it out because it will actually help you improve as a person. You have to take accountability. You have to take time to think about what you're doing, to be patient, to try and think outside of yourself. These are important things. If you can play a fighting game and get good at a fighting game, you will literally become a better person. You can't say that about too many games.
No truer words there than today. Thank you, Ronell, for that. Sure. I wanted to thank you for joining me today on the show, and also thank you for being on season 1 of this podcast. I've been trying to do a theme with this season. Like I wanted to have an overview. It's still very general in terms of what we're talking about, but for me, the theme is very personal. It's everyone who's kind of been played a big part in recent memory for me in being in this space of being a contributor, being a creator in the past, present, and in just aspiring to me. And I look to you as a person that is in the gaming industry and speaking about the gaming industry and the conversations around it. And I want to do my part and kind of aspire to be that. So I thank you for being that inspiration for me. That you're kind of like that chase for me in the rival space of like, I want to get up there. I got to trade. Thank you again. For sure. It means a lot to me.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you. This is fun.
And is there anything you'd like to plug or anything upcoming that you'd want to point out or bring up, for our audiences? This is your moment to do so.
For sure. 8-Bit Closed Fist. 8-Bit Closed Fist on, TikTok, Instagram. Also, you can find me on YouTube now, doing more long form content, dropping some video game essays, etc. But you can also find my show, Checkpoint the Show, on the same socials, including YouTube at Checkpoint the Show. It's a fun show. Think G4, Attack of the Show kind of vibes. We're trying to tackle different discussions about video games and find something we can all agree on. In some way, shape, or form, because gaming discourse has been kind of crazy lately. So
it's crazy, but you guys are you and your co-host Alexis are doing great work. I love what that show started with, and I'm excited to see more of it. Really exciting stuff. I'll make sure to put all this in the show notes too for people to find very easily. So
for sure. And if you're in Los Angeles, I'm going to be getting back to throwing more events. I want some more in-person events. So
I heard you're looking to throw some kind of game tournament of sorts. Maybe this episode would inspire some of that.
You know what I'm saying? Might have to tap back in. Maybe I could get some more young folks into the gaming fighting game sphere. So
yeah, take them for a ride.
You know what I mean?
Well, thank you, Ronell, and thank you to listeners for watching and listening to this episode. We'll see you on the next Save Point.